Hi. Well, it's another beautiful day as always. The sun is shining, and today I want to talk about death. Now, what is death? Well, death is simply the falling of a form. Okay? Forms rise and then they fall. That's just what happens. These trees around me, they rise and then they fall. Okay? And that is what life is. You cannot have life without that falling. Okay? That is why death is something that has to be accepted. What happens is we cling to things when we are confronted with our own deaths. We cling to our identity. We cling to the religious group we belong to. We cling to the football team we root for. We cling to the political group that we're part of. And that clinging does not make the death retreat. It only assures us of our present stolidity. Okay? And that means that we're deluding ourselves. Death is coming. There's no question about it. Even if they come up with the, best medicine in the world, okay, even if you live 200 years, eventually that's going to end. Eventually you're going to want it to end. And we cannot escape that. Okay? So, what do we do about it? We can either face what is, or we can run away from it. And by running away from this death that is coming for us, or that we are going towards, we are clinging to our identity. It's a defense mechanism. I hate to use psychological words, but that's the way it is. And this defense mechanism says, go deeper in. Are you afraid of the edge? Go deeper in. That's what it is. Okay? And that deeper in means deeper into your identity. Cling to your identity. Cling to your separateness. Cling to the idea that you are going to last forever. I know you don't think that, but really, you do. Okay? It's called impermanence. Or permanence. The illusion of permanence. You are identified with the permanence. You think that New York City is always going to be there. You think that you're always going to be in it. You think you're always going to be on the edge of whatever you think. Okay? Doesn't matter. The point is, it's not. Eventually there will be no New York City. And eventually there will be no you. Okay? Like the Buddha said, our potter's pots will all be broken. No matter how beautiful or how useful or how much loved, our potter's pots will all be broken eventually. So why does the potter make the pots? Well, you should ask that of God. But anyway, we are the potter's pots. We are the vessels of God. He has poured into us his own identity, the soul. Only we don't know it. And as long as we don't know it, then we're going to continue to cling to your you-ness. Okay? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your-ness. Okay? What I am saying is that as long as we cling to it, we are in suffering. Okay? I don't want anyone to be in suffering, but that is the nature of life. That is the nature of karma. So, we must accept or embrace our death. Okay? Otherwise, we will fear it. And you know what fear brings. Don't you? I'm pretty sure you do. Okay? And so we must accept what is. I am going to die. This body is going to die. This form is going to die. But the soul within, the part of me that keeps this body alive, no matter how withered and wrinkly I get, the soul is the spark, the thing of life that I have. This body is not life. This body is a form. And it will go, just like everything else. Everything that you love, everything you hold dear, is going to be destroyed. That is the nature of existence. If we run away from that, which we can easily do, we can run away from it. Your mom gets sick, go to Africa. But you'll still be in suffering. Okay? So, in order to not be in suffering, in order to not be on the wheel of karma, we have to accept what is. And that means accepting and embracing our death. This person is going to die. This body is going to die. But this soul, the thing that animates this person, the thing that animates this body, the thing that is filled with the conscious light of God, isn't going to die. And I know that because I've seen it. And so I have no fear of death, and neither should you. And this fear of death causes you to go further into suffering. I know it's hard to confront one's own death. I know that's a hard thing. But you must accept it is coming and not run from it, not fight against it. In a way, all life is only the now. There is nothing but the now. This world, these trees, this beautiful place is an illusion. Because it is in time. Okay? And so is everything else. And if we cling to the illusion of the world, I'm not saying there's not a planet. Yes, there's a planet. There's a planet Earth, and we are sitting on it. But the illusion of the world that we make in our minds, okay, is what holds us to this identity. The identity of permanence. The identity of separateness. The identity of being part of something bigger than yourself. Being able to have yourself continue on indefinitely. Even if it's not you, you know, your kids are going to continue on, and they're going to have kids, and so on and so forth. That's all part. The reason that we get into the point of having kids is in order to serve what we have. I tell my kid a story. He tells his kid the same story. And that kid tells his kid the same story. And so on and so forth. And so my story is immortal. Okay? That's what we think. But it's an illusion. Okay? And so, what do we need to do? We need to accept that the world is not the way your brain thinks it is. You need to accept that you are going to die. Not fear it, not run away from it, not defend it, defend yourself from it by going further into your identity, by clinging harder to your church, but by letting go of the identity Only by letting go of the identity. And I know that's hard. It's hard to let go of the identity. I totally understand that. But it's something that must happen if you wish to be free. If you don't want to be in a trap, the identity itself is the trap. The person is the trap. And that trap is going to die. The more you hold on to it, the harder you cling to the identity of you, the worse it will become. So, how can you face what has to be faced? By accepting what is coming. Accepting that you are going to die. I know it's hard. Okay? We kind of say, oh, I know I'm going to die. But really, we don't accept it. Because I'm alive, aren't I? Why even think about death? I know. But this defense of death makes it harder to wake up. Defense of life, I guess you'd call it, not death. Defense of you to the attack of death. You think death is an attack upon yourself, and you therefore cling to yourself more. Sorry, the wind is moving the camera, but that's life, right? Anyway, try to understand that everything that you're going through in your life is part of death. There is no life without death. There is no death without life. It's part of one thing. We have this thing of making everything into two things. It's called dualism. Okay? And which is fine. But it's wrong. There is no light and dark. There is no on and off. There is no life and death. As much as you think there is and believe that there is two things, then you're going to be in suffering. There is only one thing. And your experience of that one thing on this earth is about how you see it. How you see your life. And how you suffer for what you see. That's as simple as that. And as long as we are clinging to anything at all, including ourselves, I know that's crazy to think that we can cling to ourselves, but that's what we do. We clench that identity tightly. Because, I don't know why, because we're afraid. The fear makes us clench tighter. The fear makes us cling. And that fear is what is ruling your life. If you don't think it is, then you have to look at yourself and look at what you've done and why you've done it. That's all. Okay? But by accepting the death that is coming, by realizing that it is part of the living, not separate from it. In order for a form to rise, it must fall as well. A form cannot rise without later falling. That is the nature of existence. And we must accept it. We must embrace it. Every one of us will have to face this at some point in time. Maybe you're young and you think, oh, I'm immortal. Maybe you don't think that, but you really do think it somewhere down deep. Okay? But the time is coming when you won't think that, when you will be afraid of not being immortal. You will have the fear of death in you. And that fear of death causes what? What do you think it causes? Suffering. So in order to awaken, we must accept this death. I'm not going to tell you that death is a doorway, that death is the next step that you have to take, or anything like that, because we don't know that. All we know for sure is that it causes suffering. The fear of death causes suffering. And the only way for that suffering to stop is to accept that you are not a person. Yes, the person is going to die. But you are not a person. You are a soul clothed in a person. And that is all there is to it. I know it's hard to realize these things sometimes, but it must be done. As long as you're clinging to your identity, okay? Which is, in order to wake up, is what you need to let go of. The question is, why are you clinging? Because you're afraid. Because of fear. And that fear is simply out of ignorance of believing that you are something that you are not. You believe that you are a doctor. You believe you're a lawyer. You believe you're a janitor. You believe that you are a person. And so therefore that person has got to die. Because that is the way it is. Death will come to all. Even if they invent the immortality pill. Eventually, it'll come. And this wanting for everything to stay the same is part of your desire system. And it's part of the illusion of permanence. But life is impermanent. And there's nothing we can do about that. Everything is constantly changing. We can either fight against it, fight against the change, or we can accept that we are the change. The change that is coming to you is you. There is no one else that is coming to accept you. You might say, oh, well, I'm in my tribe and we're all changing together. Well, bullshit. Every change is coming to you and you alone. Even if everyone else around you is suffering from the change, you have to deal with it on your own. You're born alone. You have to deal with the suffering on your own, and you have to die alone. That is the nature of existence. And we make that such a terrible thing. We make it such a horrible, keep it away from me thing. Okay? We put our old people in homes so we won't have to deal with them. We won't have to look at how their faces are saying. We won't have to look at the wrinkles. But the wrinkles are there to warn us that death is coming. And although we are all addicted to youth, we look at models and porn stars and people on TV. We must accept that we should be and will die. And the fact is, that's what has to happen for life to happen. There's only so much room. Okay, if everyone had stayed alive that, had ever lived, there'd be no room. And that's why death is necessary. It's a necessary part of life. It's part of the same thing that life is. And by fearing it, we are clinging to ourselves, our illusory self. We're clinging to something that never existed to begin with. We thought it did exist. We thought that it was there, but it wasn't. In order to be free, one must accept what is. And one must accept that death is coming. And one can do that in the now. The now begins and ends. Okay? That is what the now does. It is a moment. And if you are in that moment, then you can see, you can feel what is real. You can't feel or see what's real in time, because it has been corrupted by time and by everything else. In order to accept that you are part of a system that grew up and now must die at some point in time. By running away from that, which many people do, they use whatever they can to not remind themselves that it's coming. Plastic surgery, makeup, wrinkle cream. Oh, I have to put this on so I don't feel like I'm dying. But the wrinkles are going to be there, and they're going to continue accumulating, and that is the nature of living. And if we don't accept that, if we do not accept what is coming, then we are going to be in suffering. I'm not saying that we need to accept the future or we need to do anything about the future. I'm saying that we need to accept what life is. And life is also death. And in order to be awakened, you need to stop fearing it. And we stop fearing it by realizing who you really are. Accepting that you are not this veneer of a person. You are not this body. You are not this mind. You are not all the ideas that are running through your mind. None of that is you. It is only the illusion of you that you think you are. And as long as we are clinging to these illusions, then we will have unhappiness. And as long as we accept that life is what it is and that death is coming, then we will not have to deal with them at all. Okay? That is what it is. Just accept. Accept that the world is constantly changing. Accept that you are constantly changing. Accept that you're not separate. You're not separated from God. The fear of separatism is in you. And it's part of the fear of death. Because the separateness will go on forever. Right? But you are not separate. You are with God. Right now. Even in New Jersey, even in Phoenix, even in Illinois, you're with God. Because God is in you, in the form of your soul. Because God took a part of himself and made it into your soul. Now you can say, oh no, my soul's something different, blah, blah, blah. That came out of the well of souls and all that stuff. By all means, believe what you want to. I'm not trying to make you believe anything. I'm trying to make you understand what must be done in order to awaken. I know it's hard to see and accept what is. You can spend your life fighting against it and running away from it. By all means, that is what you can do. But if you want to awaken, if you want to have freedom, you have to face these things. Face the death. Face the end of this body, of this face, of this personality. And as we do that, as we face the end, we are free. Because we are no longer defending against it. By defending against the end, we are trapped. And this defense is simply to cling harder. Go deeper into whatever it is you're into. Cling on to the tribe harder so that you won't be alone. But death comes no matter what, whether you're alone or not, because you cannot die alone and you cannot die with people, because death is simply what it is. The end. We are born alone, we live alone, and we die alone. That is the nature of business. Yes, we can have people. We can be with people. But we have to face that fact of aloneness. And accept that it's not true. You are not alone. You were never alone. God was with you the entire time. And as long as you think or feel that you must defend yourself from death, then you're going to be on the wheel of karma. I know death is not a popular thing to talk about. I know a lot of people shy away from it, but it is part of your journey. It's part of your path. And that path is riddled with challenges that you need to accept and take on so that you can grow. And one challenge is to accept what is. Accept that you are, the you-ness that you are is going to die. But you know what's not going to die? The soul that made that you-ness live. The soul is the spark of life. The consciousness is the spark of life. That spark is not going to die because it cannot die. Only forms die. Life itself doesn't. Well, anyway, it's been lovely to talk to you today. And I hope that if you have any questions about anything I've said, that you can talk to me in the comments. Tell me what is on your mind. And I will try to make things more clear to you. Okay? I love you all because you're me. You're part of me. Just like the cells in my body are part of me. Even if they're not me. Because I am everything. And you are everything. and we are all one. Try to get into the now. And remember who you really are. All right, well, have a great life and a great day.